talk shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Good afternoon, my name is Nomsa Clara Mncube. I'm the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and I'm your host today. Over to you, Nadia. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi everyone, Nadia Dubil here. I'm a, oh gosh, sorry, my phone is on loud. So yeah, I'm a body intelligence trainer. I'm a certified coach and trainer and teacher, and I have my own school, Superhuman Academy, where I teach people basically how to become themselves, because our educational system is not doing it properly. So obviously I decided to create my own school where I teach people how to reach our full potential through being creative and connecting with our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sarefa. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sarifa Alonto Yunis. I'm a serial CEO and founder of few educational institutions here in Australia and in the Philippines. I'm also a philanthropist, and I educate and empower women how to learn to love their obstacles and turn them into opportunities. Thank you very much, Nomsa, and over to you, Kamal.
Thank you, Sarifa. Hi, Nadia, Nomsa, Sarifa, everybody watching or whoever is going to be watching in the future. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Kamal Amer. I am the founder of Mart Coach, a coaching company where we coach people through ancient Egyptian methodology and NLP. I'm a certified NLP trainer, master practitioner, hypnotherapist, as well as a certified life purpose specialist. What I do is exactly what we do in Mart Coach is I find actually pleasure in helping people uncover their purposes in life so that they can live a more satisfying and fulfilled life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kamal. Our topic today is how to follow your heart will guide you to reaching your potential, part 2. So I'm gonna give it to Nadia, please. Could you please explain the topic to our audience, and when you finish you can all go around in explaining how you understand the topic. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. So following your heart is something that is the most important mission, life mission for me. We all heard how to follow your heart, and so on. But what does it actually mean? And actually, heart intelligence and heart is the core of my teachings at my school. And what it means is basically learning how to tap into our higher self-awareness, how to become our higher self, because we live in a world where we are really kind of conditioned to be a certain way, to behave certain way, to think, overthink, analyze, and these thoughts are most likely negative. And what they do is they only separate us from our dreams and from what we really want to create. And when we follow our heart, we reach our full potential because we don't pay attention to these thoughts. We don't consider them viable, and we start being more self-reliant, more confident, and we are unstoppable. And what happens is when you are on that path, you really start receiving ideas, information, your creativity just blows up basically, and you start having receiving creations and making connections basically that genius, that are unique, that are different. and you start becoming really, really powerful, and you start believing in yourself, and you start doing things that you're supposed to be doing since you become an adult, basically, or even a child. So that's what it is, what it means for me to follow your heart, to reach your full potential. So yeah, I'm curious what you're gonna say, Sarifa. I know we have a little bit different opinions, so I'm looking forward to hear.
I think she said over to you, Sarifa.
Sorry, I'm just waiting for you to talk now. Yes, this is the second series and continuation of the previous discussion we had on about following our heart, and I have my own take and own opinion of following our heart. Following our heart also is very important. However, by letting our heart lead the decision to make to cloud our judgment in making our decisions, sometimes it can lead to a disaster or a miserable life. Although it is very important that when our logical thinking or a rational thinking is tapping in, as I explained before, that for me, we are human, and this is our heart. This is our head. This is where our brain is, and this is our heart. And I always believe that our logical thinking is much higher than our heart. And for me, I always let my logical thinking or rational mind control my emotion, because sometimes my emotion takes me in a disaster or something that I will always regret. However, by saying that, it is very important also that we shouldn't trust our decision if it's only based in our emotion. It has to be incongruent and in alignment with our rational thinking to ensure that there is no disagreement between our logical mind and our heart, although it's in one body. And there is always a disagreement, even in people around, even in politics. There is always the opposition, and there is always the pro things. But it is always the job of the opposition to disagree with the other group. So likewise, in our heart and in our mind, there is always a disagreement, although it's in one body. However, by saying that also, for me, it is very important that there is always a blend of rational thinking and our emotion and our heart. And that's what I call when there is a blend of our rational thinking and our emotion or our heart, then that's where the wisdom steps in. And then when you have that wisdom, that is the perfect time to make that decision, because it is based on our heart, on our emotion, and on our logical mind or logical thinking, or rational thinking. So I would like to pass on to Kamal. What is his takes?
Thank you, Sarif, and thank you, Nadia. I am siding with you today, Sarifa. Decision making, when it comes to in NLP, decision making, we've discussed that several times. A proper decision or a congruent decision for your life is based on your visual aspects, your auditory aspects, and your kinesthetic, which is the feelings and the heart that you're talking about, Sarifa. The logical is divided into two different areas: the vision, what you see, how you see it, how it affects your dream. And the auditory is what you tell yourself, what others say, the opinions of trusted people around you, not society. I don't trust society. They play in your mind. No. And that is part of the decision making that I teach my students, that I work with clients when they have difficult decisions to make. That is one part of following your heart. Following your heart translates to me in uncovering your purpose or your purposes in life, finding purpose for your existence, finding reasons of what you enjoy doing, what brings you satisfaction, fulfillment, what fills your heart with love. And love doesn't necessarily mean the love of somebody, but it fills your heart with that passion, that unconditional feeling that you can dedicate your time, your energy, even your money into something that pushes the people around you forward, helps them, as well as partake into that joy. That is following your heart. To me, it also incorporates the idea of how your past has shaped you, how your present is today, and it also encompasses the future that you want to create for yourself, for your family, or for the people around you. That is, in shorter words, how I see following your heart. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I actually agree with Nadia, and I also agree with you, Kamal and Sarif, because when it comes to business, when I'm making a decision, I have to follow my heart. Sometimes I don't have a clue what's gonna happen in the outcome. As a businesswoman, when somebody present me with a deal, I just have to trust. I have to trust God that I'm making a decision. Inside of me, I have to believe that I'm making the right decision. Like, there was there's a company that I saw on online the other day. I think it was a few weeks ago, and I didn't know, because I know that YouTube, when you do something dodgy on YouTube, I know they kick you out. But then they were advertising that they help company with the traffic and stuff, but I've never heard of them. So I basically I made a decision. They're very, very expensive. So I was like, I'm just going to follow my heart and trust that they will do according to what YouTube expects. But I believe them. So I sent them an email. I communicated with them. In my heart, I knew I was doing the right thing, and in my heart I knew I didn't have a clue what was going on, but I put my trust in God and said, God, I hope I'm doing the right decision. It turns out that actually they are good company. They were the right company for me to go with them. So, and I also agree with Kamal with the NLP. When you actually have to make a decision, if you use your heart, only your heart sometimes it can lead you to the wrong direction. It can lead you making the wrong decision. So you have to actually make a decision based on logic, like to say, sit down and think there, but sometimes you don't have time to think. Sometimes you just have to make a decision and say, I'm gonna do this, that's how I make decisions myself. If you approach me and I listen to you, if you make sense, I don't want to miss the deal. I'm taking the deal. Whatever the outcome, I have to say, if the outcome is negative, Nomsa, I actually give you a good credit for taking that step. If the outcome is positive, I say hallelujah, I dance. But if it's negative as well, I dance. So we never know. You never know when you make this, you use your heart to make the right decisions. So I'm going to come back to you. What is a satisfying life? Because we say how to follow your heart will guide you to reaching your full potential. Because when you are reaching your full potential, that means you are in that road of satisfying life. So over to you, Kamal. What is satisfying life? Or if you want to comment on what I just said, I know you love to comment.
I don't like it when you agree with me. All right. Satisfaction in life is very dependent on each person and each one of us. We all find satisfaction in different ways. We all find fulfillment in different ways, and we all define that satisfaction or success in our life very differently. And the reason I'm saying that is that I cannot define it for everybody that is listening, but I can tell you a satisfying life would be a life where you are content with yourself. You are content with you're waking up in the morning being grateful for whatever you've done the day before, knowing that today you will surpass yourself and become better. Having a satisfying life is reflected upon the work that you do in your day to improve your character, your behaviors, to help the people around you, to contribute to society or to the growth of others. It doesn't necessarily mean coaching or teaching, but it can be in any different way. I mean, I don't know any kind of job that you are fulfilling, that you are doing with full-heartedly, right? Let's use this term. You are contributing to a satisfying life from your side. If you are not satisfied with what you're doing, then quit and do what you find satisfying. If you are not finding fulfillment in the jobs that you're in, then find the reason why. Is it because you go from 9 to 5? Is it because you don't have time for your family? Is it because you don't feel that you are contributing to the growth of society and helping others? What is it that is preventing you from finding satisfaction in that particular area of your life, whether it be career, family, relationships, whatever it is? So that, to me, would be how one defines satisfaction. It can have different levels. It doesn't have to be a yes or no. That's the teaching of my mentor, Steve McVeigh. A lot of people take things in black and white, or what we call in NLP. It's very digital. So it's a yes or a no. A satisfying life would rather be in an analog state where you can move that satisfaction back and forth, so that you don't have to say, I'm not satisfied anymore. But when you find that gauge going a little bit lower on the satisfaction level, you can figure out what is happening there and gauge it more, so that you can move forward to your satisfying state, whatever it may be. That would be my definition for satisfaction for people to understand how they can do that. It's up to you. Remember, we speak a lot about the decisions that you make, the choices that you have. You constantly have a choice in every single situation. You can either answer in anger, or respond peacefully, or even ignore for a second or two, or for a day. Rationalize it, think about it, think with your heart, your mind, your body and soul, and then respond. But the choice is yours. The choice is yours with the satisfaction and quality of your life. You can be satisfied and content with very little. And you can have all the riches in the world and still not be satisfied. Why? Because you cannot satisfy the inner person, that inner self, that core being of yourself is not satisfied. And it will never be satisfied by materialistic things. They are all mindsets. They are all, they're based on contentment and gratitude for the moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal. I thought Nadia was going to jump on.
Oh yeah, I wanted to jump straight away when Sarifa and Kamal were expressing themselves, because it's so different actually. For me, it's like one of the shows when I feel like I have completely different perspective to everyone else, and I feel like I really have to defend myself, not defend, but obviously express myself more passionately, definitely. So yeah, I really have to say that the heart intelligence, heart I'm talking about, is not just it's not emotional center. What I'm talking about when I say follow your heart is you're following what's in your highest good, what you do what you're supposed to do. So the question is what about life satisfaction. So of course, if you don't feel satisfied in your life, that's the first indication you are not following your heart, because your heart knows the best what is what is in your highest good, what you should be doing, what are your values, what is the right choice for you. And a lot of people are not happy and they suffer because they work against themselves. They make choices that are not aligned with what their heart truly desires. And it's all scientifically proven now that heart is brain on its own, and it actually makes all the decision. It's not our head brain that makes the decision. What happens is that our heart receives information from different places, like our hormonal system, our nervous system, the energy from the outside, from electromagnetic field, and based on our conditioning, unfortunately, sends the information to our brain, and then our brain decides what to do. And all this logical, rational thinking, of course we need this, because otherwise we would be completely lost. We wouldn't be know what is happening in our life. And we need it, of course, to survive and just to make sense out of reality. That's basically how I according to my teachings. But what I'm talking about is something much higher, much better, like creating life that is on completely different level. Like if you talk about Steve Jobs, Michael Jackson, Prince, Elon Musk, I'm talking about these people. These people are not operating, they might, of course, operating between heart and brain coherence and emotions and logical thinking, but to be honest, they wouldn't really be creating all these mind-blowing and extraordinary things if they really didn't follow their heart, if they would think logically and rationally about anything. They would never create all these mind-blowing things. They would not, Elon Musk would not create SpaceX, Steve Jobs would not create the iPhone. So what I'm talking about is tapping into completely different knowing, intuitive knowing, because intuition, I think all of you possibly mentioned that heart can be wrong. No, it cannot be wrong. I have to say that, because when you're following intuition, which is, intuition knows everything, and it's never wrong. It's never wrong, and that's what really following your heart is, because it's connected to everything around us. You know, our bodies, our brain is exposed to 400 billion pieces of information per second, and because we are very limited in our conditioning. We only rationally and logically know about 2,000. So, and imagine we are exposed to so much more, but because we're not tapping to our heart intelligence, our higher knowing, our true wisdom and our full potential, we're not receiving this genius, incredible ideas that people like Michael Jackson, Prince, Elon Musk, and Steve Jobs had the courage to do, basically, and they tapped into it. I know from my teachings that Steve Jobs was incredibly spiritual, and he would never come up with these ideas. He used to go to Himalayas, to the mountains, basically just to relax and calm down, and that's basically where he was going. That's where he was coming up with all these ideas. It was not just sitting in America somewhere, but he really was tapping into his inner wisdom. So basically, guys, if you're not satisfied in your life, you are definitely not following your heart. You are not listening to that inner voice, to that inner wisdom that is telling you what you're supposed to do. You're working against your values. You're not true and authentic to yourself, and you are overthinking and just thinking too much, basically, and not following that intuitive voice within you that's telling you what you're supposed to do and what will bring you wonderful, fulfilling, incredibly happy life. And I'm telling that from experience. I'm not just making it up because I read it in the book or I went on a course and someone told me. It's because that's how the world works. And of course, we all have different opinions, and it's fine, because it's, you know, we all have to go through different lessons in life. And yeah, take that, guys. Okay, well, sorry if I think you haven't expressed yourself on that, so I'm looking forward to hear.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nadia and Kamal. talking about the satisfaction, and I agree with Kamal that contentment is an emotional state of satisfaction. So it is how our wishes are being fulfilled. Satisfaction may differ from person to another person. What may be satisfying to you is dissatisfying to other people. And what may be dissatisfying to you is the most satisfying to another person. So that's a very, very subjective. However, when you have that gratitude, then it is very easy for us to tap into the contentment state. Gratitude is very, very important because those people who have very less gratitude, satisfaction is very hard to reach, where the contentment is. Even a little thing in life, it is very important that we appreciate it, because what is nothing for us may be something for other people. Maybe what is $1 for us is $1 million for those people who really needs it badly. So that's why contentment is an emotional state of satisfaction, of how our wishes are being fulfilled. And by saying that also, our heart and our rational thinking need to be congruent with each other. Because if there is no congruency, then there is no satisfaction. Because our heart, our emotion will always dictate our rational mind, our rational thinking, or logical mind. But our logical mind will always fight against our emotion. And most of the time, the logical mind wins a lot. By saying that also, we cannot also ignore the emotional side of us, because that's the sixth sense where the nurturing, where the empathy and compassion steps in. When one of them say no, and you feel a little bit unsure of it, despite the debate between the two, when one of them say no, you should think twice and 100 times. Following our heart alone can always lead to disaster, especially in making an intelligent decision making. Because at the end of the day, this is my belief. And I really believe that our brain is created the highest part of our body, so it means it should be in control. But it should also listen to our heart when something is not right, because we cannot be always a genius. We need to have that emotional intelligence also. We cannot always, IQ is very important, but a little bit of emotional intelligence is required. So there has to be a congruence and tapping to each other and helping each other and agreeing with each other. When there is a disagreement, that's when the disaster sometimes could happen. And then we start to blame, why did I follow my heart? Why did I follow my rational mind? Why this and why this and why that? You need to stop and sleep overnight. And the following day, make the decision. When you think that it's so risky, because particularly we women, we are very emotional and we want it and we want it and we're very, very stubborn, despite the fact sometimes our logical mind is telling us, calm down, take few days. So I saw it many times with my co-leaders that sometimes you say, can we just sleep overnight? Can we just make a decision tomorrow? Because when you are too excited or too happy and too sad also, there is an imbalance of our hormone. So there is the third party that's coming in, not only our intelligence and our emotion, but the third party is the hormone that's playing that imbalance, you know? When the hormone is playing imbalance, it is very, especially if you are making a very, very important decision, don't risk it, because at the end of the day, you are playing with other people, especially as a leader. If you are a leader and you make a mistake in, I would not say a mistake, you make a poor decision, it's the constituents, it's the people around you who will pay for it, not you. and you are in charge of making the decision. So I would suggest sometimes for other people, which I'm suggesting it because I do it myself, that take 1 day or 2 days until your hormone is balanced. You are not too excited or too happy, and you're not too sad. When you are in that equilibrium is balanced, then make the right decision, because you will make a better decision. Because our decision can be, our judgment can be clouded by our emotion. An intelligent decision sometimes suffers at the expense of our emotion. So that's what I could leave and suggest to the audience. Thank you very much, Nadia, and thank you, Kamal and Nomsa.
I've listened to the three of you. You know, I think Nadia, I agree with Nadia, and I also agree with the contentment. Basically, you know, Nadia, when she talks about Michael Jackson, you know, when you're making a decision as an artist, I'm an artist as well. How I make decisions, sometimes I shock my family, because I go for a walk. Nadia talk about the mountains. I go for a walk. Sometimes I talk to somebody, instead of somebody will be speaking, instead of me replying, my mind is gone. But to me, it's not gone. The other person thinks I'm ignoring them. But to me, my mind is gone, because my mind and my heart is telling me that the answer that you've been looking for, this person is just giving you the answer that I've been looking for. So I'm busy writing it in my mind. I'm busy writing the answer that I've been looking for. So when I get home, I'm like, I'm doing this, and my family are like, you what now? So I'm like, because I've made that decision. So when you're making a decision as an artist, it's like you are writing a music, you are writing a film, everything that is around you, basically the pictures, the trees, the flowers, is there to give you the clue. So that's what Nadia is saying. And I've seen myself that sometimes I make decisions and my family like, Nomsa, you are completely bonkers. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Trust me. And then tomorrow they'll be like, we believed in you. I'm like, no, you didn't. So, but now they're getting used to my bonkersness, how I make decisions, because I'm not just making decisions from the heart. The heart speaks the truth. You know, when you meditate, I don't know how you guys meditate. When you meditate and actually connect with the higher power, when you actually make decisions, you understand, you come to an understanding that there's a time where your heart can be manipulated by the other energies. When your heart is being manipulated, you are aware of it in your body when you're making that decision. And then here comes to the contentment, where Kamal was saying that some people can have very little in their lives, but be full, be happy. They have this, they accept their life, they are happy. But you find somebody who has everything and they are not happy. So I think I fall under what Kamal was saying. That's that kind of a life that sometimes people can see me happy, but I have problems. But because I'm happy, I'm content, I'm just full of life, and people look at me and they think, oh, why they think different. I'm like, I'm actually happy because I'm breathing. I'm actually, when I'm being that grateful at that moment, I know I'm blessed with my high power. I know my life is full of life. And I just, that's how I see it, that I'm actually on both the side of you guys. I see the life that I have lived before I learned how to meditate, before I actually learned to pray properly, and I see the life that I'm leading now, that life is different. When I'm being led, making decisions, I make decisions like when Sarifa comes to me and say, Nomsa, this is what I've seen. I thought it would be good to Fongosi talk show. So I'm like, keep talking, I'm listening. If I give you 1, 2, 3 seconds of my time, it means you are talking my language. But if you hear me arguing and saying no, that means my heart is actually connected with my higher self and says, no, that's not where you need to go. Even Nadia, I've noticed when Nadia will come out, when they come to me and they like, this is the suggestion, it makes sense, I'm going for it, baby. I don't want to miss out because I know it makes sense. So that's how I see how making a decision, it can be simply a secret, or this, your heart can speak the truth to you. It speaks the language of love. But then there is a time where your heart can be manipulated by other energies. You got to be aware of who you are. That's where the you comes in, of knowing who you are, where you can say, no, I don't think I do this. And then you can tell whatever the energy is trying to manipulate to say, know what? Not now. So anyone wants to make a comment? Over to you, Kamau.
A tiny comment, because if you can, I'll start off by defining intuition in two different aspects. There's the spiritual intuition that people that are very spiritual or even religious, that gets a lot of information from that realm. And there is the physiological intuition. The physiological intuition is those, you can call them deja vus, you can call that gut feeling, whatever it is, but there is a physiological aspect to it. Your hands start to sweat, you have goosebumps, you have certain body reactions, right? And that kind of intuition, if you think outside of the spiritual realm, intuition is based on the events of your life. Events that you have witnessed, events that you have attended, events that you have been part of. And all of these events have created information that is in your subconscious, like Nadia was talking about, right? Every situation that we are in, there is a massive intake of information. And that information is stored somewhere. It's stored in your subconscious. That subconscious comes out in that state of an event where, oh, my intuition is telling me to do this. It's because it has analyzed the information that you have not processed at that time of the event previously. So you have something now to work. The mind has something else to work with. The subconscious has something else to work with, right? And once it has that information, it gives you these physiological signs that, oh, my intuition is telling me to do that. That's the physiological intuition, right? That's the one. And if you think of that intuition, I think about 50% of the time your intuition is wrong. On the other hand, the spiritual intuition, that is a connection that each person has with their spiritual realm, whether it's God, he, she, it, whatever you want to believe in. That connection is the higher level, I believe Nadia is talking about, is that level of spirituality, whether you want to call it or not spirituality, is that connection that you have with that realm that gives you, that sends you or feeds you the information around you, that tells you, look at that, look at this, this is a message, here's the message, did you understand the message, can you read it, can you interpret it the right way? And I also agree on that. I don't disagree on that. But that is a different level of it's a different existential level. All right. And since not many people can reach that stage, it's wonderful to learn how to reach it, to try and access it. And I actually want to push anybody that can reach that stage, because it's a wonderful stage to be. Now, speaking of the following your heart, I will speak about ancient Egypt, right? And we're talking about 5,000 years ago. That civilization was one of the greatest civilizations in the world, not because of what they created, not because of what they've managed to build and all of that, but of their way of life as well. You see, each person had a purpose or several purposes in their life. Each person was dedicated from morning till night to every duty that they had, and they all worked, contrary to belief, with their own will to provide for their family, to provide for the rest of the population and the civilization, and to improve the state of the civilization. Another myth that that's proven by historians is that, you know, ancient Egypt was built by laborers, by the people were forced to build the Great Pyramids and all these great, wonderful architectural genius. It was not. Ancient Egypt, the pharaohs, they employed the Egyptians to build these monuments. They paid them well. They rationed them with good food and good beer drinking, right? They had, I think they had 3 rations of beer because that was fantastic. It was honey beer. And life in Egypt was considered so great because of the contribution of each citizen into the bettering of society. I don't bettering, yeah. That any outside world, any outside country or civilization was looked upon with like as a lower grade of life. Life was so perfect during the Egyptian, ancient Egypt, that they viewed their afterlife a continuation of their current living life. This is how perfect their life was. And everything that they did at that time was based on purpose, based on following your heart. It was very difficult, of course, to go from one social state to another. But everybody had the opportunity to work hard for what they could and what they were good at. And that is also following your heart. You follow your heart by giving your utmost to each and every aspect of your life, to each area that you want to focus your life on, to love, to your children, to your parents, to your career, to your hobbies. Finding that passion and filling your life with passion in every aspect of your life. This is also a teaching of the Japanese. It's called the Ikigai, right? They live their life from the moment they wake up till the morning till the moment they go to sleep. In total, 100 dedication to every single thing they do, right? That is living, in my opinion, that is living through your heart, having a more satisfying and content life. Because your contribution, it's not the validation that you get from outside the world. It's the validation you get from your internal life. Remember, life begins inside of you, not outside. Outside is information that you can get. It is messages, it is knowledge. But life, to live it with passion, to live it with heart, to live it with purpose, starts from inside. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal. Nadia, would you like to argue with him? I'm handing him over to you.
No, but I would like to add something to what Sarifa said before about the satisfaction in life. I think it was, I just want to represent heart intelligence a little bit stronger, because of course everything that you said is fine, but here, you know, as I said before, I'm talking from a higher level of creating. So if you really want to reach your full potential, relying on your thoughts and feelings is never reliable, because they are, as I learned from this wonderful teachings, thoughts and feelings are connected to your past experiences. So emotions and your thoughts are not reliable, because what happens is the creation of our ego, our egoic nature. We experience something as children, and we make assumptions that are not based on reality, but how we perceive what happens to us, and most likely we acting out of fear, not in our highest good. And that's how we create emotional responses as well. So it's very, very important to be aware that emotions are not reliable at all because they connect these past experiences. So as Sarifa said rightly, of course, following emotions can take you to a disaster, 100%. That's because they are not reliable and they reflect your past experiences. But also what's very important, emotional intelligence is incredibly important because a lot of people are not living in like a higher self-awareness, and our choices are driven by emotions. So there was this experiment a few years ago. Basically, the guy got cancer, brain cancer, like a part of the brain basically that's responsible for processing emotional responses. I think it's frontal lobes. And the part of this part of the brain was cut out, and the guy who got the brain cancer, he was an entrepreneur, high performing person who actually was looking forward to it because he thought that when he's gonna get rid of this part of the brain, he's gonna get rid of emotions, and his choices are not going to be cloud. Basically, he's gonna have much more clarity. But what happened actually was that after that operation, he couldn't make any choice at all. So scientists then realized basically that our choices are driven by emotion, because this guy, he couldn't decide what he wants to wear, what he's gonna eat, nothing. He couldn't make any decision at all. He was completely lost. So of course, understanding our emotions is important, but when it comes to creating life from a higher perspective, we cannot rely on this emotion, because we're deciding what we're gonna have for breakfast and what we're going to wear and so on, based on our past experiences. They have nothing to do with our highest good and creating a life that we really could. And that's why it's I had to, it's important. It's important to be aware of it 100%. And I wanted to add something else about what Kamal said about intuition. Yes, according to HeartMath Institute, there are 3 types of intuition. So we have implicit knowledge, so things that you were talking about, things that we experienced. We have energetic sensitivity. So this is something that we pick up from other people. So sometimes, for example, when you walk into the room, you feel that the energy is very high, very low, or angry or something. And also there is also another type of intuition, and it's called, oh gosh, what it was called? Let me quickly look. Non-local intuition. Non-local intuition. That is the intuition that no one can explain, and that is our ability basically to predict anything. They did experiments actually on very highly successful entrepreneurs that are using non-local intuition to make decisions, because they can predict the future. They know how the decision will impact the company. And that's why they're so incredibly successful, not because they rely on the rational thinking and what they already know, but they actually can make a decision. They can kind of look into the future and see what's going to happen. And that's what makes them successful. And that's what makes them stand out. So if you really guys want to reach your full potential, it's important to start relying on your inner knowing and yourself, 100%. And that's what I mean by heart intelligence. So thank you. So yeah, so I'm curious if you have any response to that, guys. Thank you.
Sarifa?
Yes, thank you very much, Nadia and Kamal. This topic is really it's a thought-provoking topic, and I'm sure there are a lot of people there who would benefit from this discussion. But I just want to say a little bit on intuition, because all of you already has talked about it. But just to remind the audience that sometimes we mistakenly take intuition to an instinct. The intuition and instinct they're totally different, or gut feelings. So sometimes people, they get confused with the instinct and the intuition. So please separate them. Yeah. By saying that this, just to wrap up, is it is my suggestion also that it is very important that we always blend. When we make a decision, especially for those decision maker, it is very important to blend the heart and the rational thinking. Because when we only make decision based on a rational thinking or logical, cognitive, logical mind, or our cognitive reasoning, sometimes the emotion suffers. And that's why sometimes dissatisfaction can step in if we only based on rational. So it is very important to make a decision congruently, to agree between your logical mind and your heart, your emotion. They have to be together. Otherwise, we become like robot. We have that artificial intelligence that everything is based on our logical mind without taking into consideration our emotion. And I think women, we are very good in that. And we are good in nurturing, and then we have that empathy, and then compassion step in. But we cannot overdose also of it, because otherwise everything will become disaster, and then our authority will not be there because everything will be based on emotion. We can't lead with emotion alone. We need the logical mind to step in every now and then. Otherwise, life is just like a la-di-da-di-da, and we can't run an organization if everything is based on emotion. But on the other hand, we can't be leading also and basing everything on rational mind. Otherwise, we suffocate our staff members. We suffocate our employees. There has to be a mix, not too much. That's why everything needs to be taken into moderation. Not to this extent, not to this and not to this side, there has to be an harmonious congruency that needs to be together. So we get that satisfaction. So when you know that whatever decision you make, it is based on intellectual decision and emotional decision, the EQ and the IQ, they compromise and they blend together. You are happy, and then your employees, your staff members are happy also. And if there is a mistake or there is something that is not perfect, anyway, nothing is perfect, then that's when we improve on that. That's where we learn our lesson. But we cannot satisfy everybody 100%. Even our own self, we can't satisfy everything. We cannot satisfy ourselves. If you go shopping and you want to buy something, and it's, I wish I bought that also. I wish, because your emotion is stepping in. If we allow our emotion, we want to buy the whole shopping center. But our logical mind is telling us, hold on, your pocket is not that big. You need to think for tomorrow. Tomorrow you need more money to do more shopping. So that's the difference, because I am speaking on some of the women, because I know that most women are very emotional. I'm one of those, but I have to learn. It's a skills that we need to learn that EQ and IQ. Everybody has a different IQ, but the AQ, sometimes some people, they don't have it, because it's a skill that we need to learn along the way. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I love when you mentioned, Zarifa, it's almost like holding the baton from the middle, right? It's everything in moderation. And that is very important in our lives, I believe. And it's also part of the Ma teaching, right? It's harmony and balance. Now, you find harmony in your life, you will have automatically balance. And it's not balancing it first, it's finding that harmony, reaching out to the topic of the world of today. It's following your heart will guide you to reach your potential. That potential is there. Do you believe in that potential? Do you have the skills, the talents, the passion to create that potential in your life? How are you handling these in a harmonious way in your life in order to have the balance to reach that potential that you want? Maybe you don't want, because some people want to have, they don't believe they have potential, but they want to reach out to something. Now, that doesn't sound congruent, but again, These are the beliefs that people, that one should work on if they want to reach their potential in life. The same thing comes to what you were discussing when it comes to moderation. A lot of people forget that moderation is key to success. It's step by step. You know, the tiny habits that we make in our life, these are also done in moderation. We speak about a person that wants to run a marathon. They don't just, and they've never done it before, they don't just go into the street and start running 10 kilometers or 5 kilometers, right? They need to put on their shoes first, put on the running gear, get out of the house, just open the door to see how it feels like, right? Take a few steps of walking, get themselves into the mental state of moving forward towards reaching that goal that they're looking for, right? And that is also moderation. Moderation in how you deliver the information that you are going to be using every day in your life. These decisions that you're making, don't throw too many decisions on your plate. The same thing. Don't fill up your plate too much, otherwise you won't. You know the expression, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. It's the same thing when it comes to the decisions. It's the same thing when it comes to following your heart, your mind, your logic, whatever you want to call it. There is a moderation in life, and that is how you reach your potential step by step, steadily, because you have to start learning how to crawl before you can run. And so thank you, Sarifa. And Nadia, thank you so much for expressing what you do and how you've expressed the Mind, Body, Heart Training Institute that you have, right? Becoming a Superhuman. I love the thought, I love the idea, but expressing it the way that you have brings a deeper concept to the people. It brings a deeper understanding for them to realize that heart is not just that, you know, that muscle, that pump that gives you blood and oxygen. It's more than that. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for different opinions. And for me, basically, I have to accept imperfections. That's what is in my heart when I make a decision. I have to do what I love with all my heart. I have to get creative, and for me to actually live that fulfillment life, I have to learn things that I don't know. I have to unlearn things that I thought it would save me and that don't save me, and get creative and spend my time wisely and practice mindfulness. For me is very, very important, and to live in the moment. I don't even though I have goals that I've created, I don't want you telling me the problems that are gonna happen tomorrow or that are gonna happen tonight. If I'm here, when I'm finished work, tell me what's gonna happen tonight, then I'm listening. I want to listen. But if you're gonna tell me what's gonna happen tomorrow, I'm not listening. Gratitude, for me to cultivate gratitude, I think it is very, very important, and giving back to the community and giving back to you guys and Ngozi Talk Show is very, very important to me. And for me to surprise myself with the decisions, I don't want to, if I like running, I don't want to do just running. I would like to make decisions, test myself, do things that I've never done before, and surprise myself. And that I'm living a fulfillment life. I don't like to stick to the things that I know. So if you guys have some ideas about life, bring it all. And I like to listen and engage with the music. When I want to make a decision, I like to drift away 1 hour on my own, no disturbance. And I like to do me. Do you, Nomsa? I like to do me. And when I'm drifting away, I am actually listening to the music, and I like to confront my decisions, how I'm making decisions, evaluate them. Am I happy with what I'm doing now? If I'm not happy, how can I change it? I like to confront myself. I don't like to say, oh no, sir, I'm right, I'm gonna stick to my ways. No, I like to evaluate how Nomsa makes decisions, and that it makes me happy, knowing that I am surrounded by people that can build me, knowing that I can be happy with my life, with what I have, and look up to the universe or God and say, actually, I'm grateful because God loves me. And people will be saying, why God loves you? I'm like, I've got people around me. I've got this, I'm breathing. So that, to me, that's my happiness. So anyone wants to add anything before we leave? Kamal, I'm going to give it to you. Any words of encouragement before we leave to our audience?
I'll leave the audience with a quote from one of my favorite philosophers, Confucius. He said, "The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential, these are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence." So find that desire and passion within you, please.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Nadia, please.
Thank you. It was a great discussion. I just want to end that I'm glad that we all had completely different perceptions and opinions and ideas about heart, because that's just to summarize, of course, following your intuition, as Sarifa said, it is not easy knowledge. There are different types. It's not that you're just going to know how it is, because the difference between thought and intuition and instinct are subtle. So it does require a lot of rational thinking, basically, to make sense out of it. But what's important is that when you make your decision, really start to rely on yourself, on your own inner knowing. Do not do this unnecessary research when you're designing your marketing campaign, when you're going for job interview, whatever. Start to rely on yourself, on your own heart, on your own passion, and what you truly want, not what other people tell you to do. So that's what following your heart means, to rely on yourself and what you truly want and what you truly desire. Just listen to your inner voice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Sarifa, please. Words of encouragement.
Thank you very much, Kamal, Nadia, and Namsa, and the audience. I hope you benefit from this discussion, and maybe you can implement some of what we have discussed. All our discussion is, they're all complementary of each other, and it can only make us a better person, better in a way how we think, and better in a way how we follow our heart, our emotion. But it is very important that there is a congruency in life and stay in moderation. And life is like that. There is always a battle between the right and the wrong, as I would quote Margaret Thatcher when she said, "You may need to fight a battle more than once to win it." And that's how our rational thinking or logical mind and our heart, they're always battling each other. So please, these are all complementary, and stay in moderation. Thank you very much, Nomsa, and hope to see you, everyone. Again, Nadia and Kamal, I really thank and appreciate all your contributions. These are all awareness. We are all creating awareness to those people who are listening to us. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to those who are listening. We are here Monday to Friday. So everyone has their own opinion in life. So you need to get to know yourself well. That's what I leave you with. What defines you? What do you believe in? And who you are as a person underneath it all. And search for ways to be comfortable in your own skin. Because if you're not comfortable, you're never gonna have a fulfillment life. So that's what I leave you guys with. If you love watching this video later and you love the message, please hit the love button and share some love with everyone. Live with grace, everyone. Okay.
Welcome to Nkosi Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled with it.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Live a fulfillment life. Kamal says there are no guarantees in life. Live with great